The sound came first, a soft crunching in a room that should have been still. Robert paused in the doorway of his marble kitchen, briefcase in one hand, phone in the other, the city still glowing on his suit like dusted gold. The refrigerator hummed. The clock ticked. The wind pressed a cool breath against the windows. Then he saw her. Emma. His little girl. Knees on the tiled floor. Shoulders drawn in. Hair loose like a shadow. She was crouched by Mojo's bowl, fingers trembling. She lifted a small brown nugget, sniffed it, and, without looking up, put it in her mouth. Crunch. Silence, so loud it rang. Emma. Robert's voice broke. Sweetheart, what are you doing? Her head flinched. She turned slowly, eyes glossy but brave. I'm okay, she said, voice tiny, honest. Mojo wouldn't eat. I wanted to show him it's safe. Another pause. The kind that stretches time, not seconds. Robert stared at the stainless counters, at the spotless fruit bowl nobody touched, at the midnight city glittering outside like coins he could never spend fast enough. He swallowed the heat behind his eyes. He stepped closer. Baby, he whispered, that's dog food. She nodded. Just once. Like an apology she'd practiced. Footsteps echoed in the hall, Sophia's soft slippers. Mojo's nails clicked like raindrops. The air smelled of chlorine and cold lemons. Emma's lip trembled and steadied again. Dad, she whispered, it's okay. I watched a video. People can eat it. If they have to. If they have to. Tell me, what would you do in this moment? Shout? Cry? Pretend it doesn't hurt? Would you keep your pride? Or drop to the floor beside your child? Robert did not yet know the truth that sat behind this scene. A truth that would break his heart wide open. A truth that had been whispering in this house for weeks. In lunches that went missing, in quiet rooms, in a little girl's too bright smile. He took a breath that shook. The clock kept ticking. And somewhere outside, the wind changed. Robert Hale had built towers that scraped the sky. He could buy a jet before breakfast if he wanted. Numbers obeyed him. Timelines bent. Doors opened with a phone call and his name. But the kitchen at 11:42 p.m. did not care about any of that. Emma, he said again, kneeling until the marble chilled his knees. Mojo sniffed at his sleeve, tail tapping like a metronome. On the counter, a ceramic jar labeled treats sat open, one corner of the plastic bag torn like a bite mark. He noticed small things he'd missed all week. A cereal bowl in the sink, rinsed so clean it squeaked. A sticky note shaped like a star near the fridge, Emma's handwriting, lopsided, remember water plants. A tiny spoon on the counter, as if someone had tried to eat less by using smaller tools. Emma's breath came quick. She didn't cry. She did not look like a child caught doing something wrong. She looked like someone making a decision in the dark. Did you eat dinner? His voice was careful, gentle on each word. She nodded, then shook her head. I saved it. For what? For later. A beat. For someone else. Sophia appeared in the doorway, robe tied tight, her face creasing. I heard voices, she said softly. Everything all right, Mr. Hale? Robert glanced at the clock, at the untouched fruit, at the glinting knives. He was counting the wrong things. He knew it. We're fine, Sophia, he murmured. Then to Emma, sweetheart, why would you think you had to eat this? Emma's fingers curled and uncurled. She looked at Mojo. He only eats when I try first, she said. If I'm brave, he's brave. She swallowed. And it's cheaper. Cheaper. Robert blinked. The word landed hard, heavy with a meaning he didn't like. Cheaper than what? Than food that's for me. The floor slipped a little under him. He heard, somewhere down the hall, a low cough from the security radio. Michael's voice murmuring to the night staff, all clear. Who told you that? Robert whispered. Emma studied her hands. No one. Then, quickly, like ripping a bandage, you did. Not with words. John didn't look up. 3. A tiny click. A breath. The shard lifted into the tweezers, trembling like a captured star. Sophia blew, cheeks round, tears pausing in surprise. John smiled. There's my dragon. Evelyn covered her mouth, shoulders shaking, not with sobs now, but with the release of fear. John dropped the shard on a tissue. All right. A small bandage. No more dancing near fragile worlds. Okay. He winked at the memory of the globe. Sophia sniffed. Okay. Michael exhaled for what felt like the first time in minutes. Relief hit like warm water. But guilt followed, colder. He looked at Evelyn. The monitor phone on the nightstand lit with a notification. New clip saved, 4:18 p.m. The thumbnail showed Robert's face at the open door, eyes narrowed, not concerned, but something else. Michael's stomach flickered. John, he said slowly, can you watch the next clip with me? The video holds one more truth, one that will force Michael to choose trust over pride. They moved to the living room. The broken snow globe lay swept into a small glittering hill inside a dustpan. The world in pieces. Michael propped the phone up. Evelyn stood behind the couch, arms folded across her ribs, breathing shallow. John hovered by the lamp. Michael opened the 4:18 clip. The door, half open. Robert leaning in. You okay? He asked again, slower this time. Sophia's cries came from the couch off camera. Evelyn's voice, thin but steady, we're okay, thanks. Robert's eyes slid to the floor, then to the kitchen counter where the tweezers lay. His mouth twisted. You sure you know what you're doing? Looks like you're making it worse. Evelyn's jaw tightened. I've got it. Robert stepped inside, uninvited. Let me do it. You're too emotional. He reached toward Sophia. Evelyn blocked him with her forearm. Please leave, she said, measured. Now. Robert scoffed. You women think you know everything. If the kid's bleeding out, I'll be the one. Evelyn's voice sharpened. Out. Robert froze, then lifted both hands ironically. Fine. He leaned in too close to the camera on his way out, and for a flash the lens caught his eyes. Hard, dismissive. The door clicked behind him. Evelyn turned back, shoulders shaking, and wiped her face before she bent to Sophia again. The clip ended. Silence settled, thick, heavy, clarifying. The room heard rain and the tiny throat clicks of a house holding its breath. Michael felt something in him shift, like a plate sliding into place after a quake. He looked at Evelyn as if seeing her fully for the first time tonight. Not a frozen frame, but a living human under the weight of a small emergency. I'm sorry, he whispered. Evelyn's lip trembled. I know how it looked. No, Michael said, voice rough. I know how I wanted it to look. Simple. Someone to blame. He swallowed. I wasn't here. Again. John cleared his throat softly. You two love the same kid. That's the only team in the room that matters. He lifted the tissue with the tiny shard. It caught the lamplight. Pain is sharp when it's small. Harder to see than big wounds. Easy to misread. Evelyn's eyes met Michael's. I signed up for a first aid class at the community center, she said quietly. Emma's teaching it. You remember Sophia's teacher? She volunteers there. I wanted to be better. Today was the first test and her voice cracked. I was scared. Michael felt his own fear loosen. Teach me, he said. Please. A shadow crossed the doorway. Robert again, holding a cheap first aid kit like a trophy. Still need a real hand, he drawled. Michael stood. We're good, Robert. Thank you. Robert's gaze lingered on Evelyn, then flicked away. He shrugged and disappeared. The door shut with a polite click that didn't hide the insult of it. John gathered his kit. I'll text you both a list for a better home setup, he said. You did fine. He smiled at Evelyn. You kept her safe. Michael looked at the glittering dustpan, the world smaller and brighter in pieces. He exhaled. We're going to fix it. Fixing the globe is easy. Fixing what broke between them? That takes one more truth, and one more choice. Morning light pooled on the kitchen tiles, soft and forgiving. The storm had rinsed the city clean. Sophia slept in their bed, foot wrapped in a tiny bandage with a cartoon bear. The snow globe's empty base sat on the table like a blank sentence. Michael laid out superglue, tweezers, and patience. He picked up a shard. It was lighter than he expected. Evelyn poured coffee, her fingers still unsteady. "I didn't want to call you," she murmured. "I thought you'd say I should have waited. Or that I should have known what to do." Michael looked up. "I did say those things. In my head. For years." He set the shard down. "I was wrong." They worked quietly, fitting curves to curves, continents rebuilding. Between pieces, Michael spoke like someone learning a new language. "I watched 1 minute and made it the whole story." He glanced toward the bedroom. "She needs me to be better at seeing. Not just looking." Evelyn's mouth softened. "Me too." He took her hand. "You were brave. You didn't need me to be the hero. You needed me to be present." A small shuffle at the door. Sophia blinked in, hair a tangle, fox under one arm. "Is the world fixed?" she asked, voice foggy with sleep. "Getting there," Michael smiled. "Want to help?" Sophia climbed into his lap. They held a shard together, tiny fingers on his. Evelyn steadied the base. They breathed together. In, out. A family learning its timing. John texted a checklist. Emma followed with a link to a class and a simple note. "You both did your best. That's how we learn." Michael saved both messages. He'd set a reminder to attend the next session. No more later. He thought of Robert and the way contempt disguises itself as concern. He made a quiet promise that their home would be a place where help never looked like power, only like love with sleeves rolled. Piece by piece, the globe returned. The last shard clicked into the curve, closing the ocean. Michael lifted it, turning it slowly. The light caught the repaired seams. He shook it gently. Glitter rose and fell around a tiny house on a tiny hill. Storm inside a safe sphere. Sophia clapped. "It's snowing." Michael kissed the top of her head. He looked at Evelyn. "We can't unbreak a night. But we can build a morning." Evelyn's eyes shined. "Then let's keep choosing morning." They set the globe back on the table. It wasn't perfect. The world rarely is. But it was whole, held together by careful hands and new promises. Outside, the wind had stopped whispering secrets. Inside, a different quiet settled, the kind that comes after truth. Michael knelt, so he was eye level with Sophia. "Hey, Braveheart. Next time something hurts, we'll breathe together first. And we'll listen, before we decide." Sophia nodded, satisfied. The fox nodded too, because that seemed fair. Michael faced the camera of his own mind and finally let the whole film play. Every frame, every fear, every choice to trust. Not a single moment, misread and magnified. 1,000 small moments, stitched into mercy. Thought for you. Have you ever judged someone by a single frame and only later learned the whole film? What did that moment teach you, and how do you see differently now?